Greetings, everyone, and welcome. October the 3rd, 2025. And this is probably going to be a thumbnail that nobody wants to see, yourself, myself included. Additionally, the title of the video as well, but it's accurate. Putin is accurate, but there is a clause and a reason that we need to pay attention to what he said. And in the long run, this can be beneficial for Ukraine. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing. We're growing quickly, and we appreciate each and every one of you taking a moment to do that. Let's jump straight in. So we're speaking about Vladimir Putin. Last night on the live, I covered most of what he had stated, but there were a couple that I missed. And today, when I was reviewing the Putin information from his speech and press conference yesterday there in Sochi, I discovered this clip that I missed, where he's actually talking about this is a war unlike any war in history, where technology changes in weeks and not years, and the ability to respond and make quick changes is key to success on the battlefield. You will hear him use the words adversary, of course, Ukraine, NATO and the West, and you will hear him use the word warfare, not special military operation. Let's jump straight to it.
But, the pace of the change is what matters. Many things change over 1 week or over 1 month. We may apply something, but all of a sudden, like long-range, high-precision weapons become less efficient. Why so? Because the adversary has been applying the electronic jamming systems, and we need to find an antidote in several weeks, and that happens incessantly at the battlefield and in R&D centers. This is the pace of state-of-the-art change and the rapid change we're seeing today of the current warfare.
Now listen, he's 100% accurate, but we need to pay attention because this is the warfare that is being fought in Ukraine. Last night I was sharing that the actual zero line, although yes, a zero line, is not the only kill zone. The kill zone is 50 kilometers either side of the zero line in Ukraine. It is devastatingly dangerous due to drone warfare. He even stated, the long-range weapons, the ballistic missiles, the cruise missiles, they have their purpose, but the reality is the technology changes in weeks, and that is accurate. Ukraine adjusts, Russia adjusts. But what can we learn from that? We need to learn that we can talk about ships, we can talk about the best training, we can talk about warfare around the world, but if the world, and specifically the United States, does not recognize that we are in a new chapter of warfare that is drone warfare, we will continue to fall woefully behind. I also picked up on another statement that Putin made in regard to the Soviet Union. I thought this was interesting for you to hear. Take a peek at this one. Look, the Soviet Union collapsed, and Russian simpletons and former Soviet officials thought, well, now we are one civilizational family. Now we will hug, kiss on the lips, and despite the fact that we, Russia, hold to traditional values, we will all move forward as one family of nations. Like one family living together. Nothing of the sort. Even for me, for a former officer of Soviet foreign intelligence, it was somewhat unexpected when I became director of the FSB. I've already spoken about this. I thought we were our own people. So you can hear it, you can see it. Vladimir Putin is trapped in the USSR. He loves it. This is going to be his defining legacy. You're not going to negotiate him out of anything. It will be very difficult to bring him to any table because he sees Russia as completely separate, operationally different from the rest of the world with values. It is just the way it is. Now, overnight, there were massive strikes on Ukrainian infrastructure. Ukraine's state energy company Naftogaz has confirmed that there was a massive Russian strike on gas extraction infrastructure in Kharkiv and Poltava regions. You can see that on the map there, over in the north and the northeast and the east central. That's Poltava, that is Kharkiv, that is the Sumy area. Russia went specifically after gas infrastructure. I was speaking with a friend today. Russia will continue to do this. Now, on the flip side, Ukraine is smashing the Russian economy as well in the targets of oil, refinement, gas, that type of infrastructure to fund the economy. Ukraine is smashing it daily. But with these attacks on Ukraine, it makes it difficult because we're already experiencing rotating power outages in places like Chernihiv and Poltava and Sumy. And these strikes on gas infrastructure will become a challenge as we go into the colder weather season. So we have significant damage there in the multiple places I've listed for you in Poltava region and 3 places in the Kharkiv region. We're talking pipelines, infrastructure, extraction, you name it. Those were the targets. Now, the United States has shut down the government, and this can affect Ukraine and is affecting Ukraine. Now, I do not base this off of this article to the right, although the article is accurate. Fears U.S. shutdown will delay weapon shipments to Ukraine. So I saw the article just like you guys have seen the article, but then I went into my Ukrainian sources and started to see if there was truth to this. And there is. Ukraine has warned, bottom right orange, arms deliveries may be delayed. All future projects have suffered a little. That is a quote due to the U.S. shutdown. Ukraine confirming that this week after the U.S. government shutdown, the Ukrainian team responsible for coordinating with Washington was unable to hold a number of pre-scheduled meetings and calls with American officials because they were simply not at work. Ukraine stating this is a hopefully temporary situation and setback as the ability to coordinate and secure present and future weapon shipments is currently on hold. So this does not just affect the United States, this affects the entire globe. Now, we're beginning to hear more rhetoric about China. In fact, the former prime minister of Ukraine, and I'm not sharing the video in this update, the former prime minister coming out and making very bold statements last night about the connection between Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran, and that the world cannot ignore it. So I indexed that kind of in my mind, in my head to share. But then this morning, I woke up to this coming out of China. You're going to hear a little clip from Victor Gao and China. Who is Victor Gao? Well, he's born in 1962, Chinese lawyer, businessman, academic, who is the vice president, the Beijing-based Center for China and Globalization. He is an expert on international relations at Soochow University, where he is chair professor. He is also a member of the Beijing Municipal Committee. It's a minor, non-oppositional party under the direction of the Chinese Communist Party, Xi Jinping. He was formerly a translator for the Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping. And according to Foreign Policy, which is a U.S. publication, Gao was actively involved as a reputable interlocutor and negotiator between the U.S. and Chinese relations. So this is Victor Gao, and he spoke, and I just think we need to hear it. It's telling.
China's policy is very clear. China will not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot. China will never allow the United States to launch a war against China, conventional or nuclear, without suffering devastating consequences. If you have not watched the Victory Day parade in Beijing on September the 3rd, one of the weapons China demonstrated, we call it 61, because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads plus one hydrogen bomb. Now, in the world of today, let me tell you, which country has hydrogen bomb? China is the only country with hydrogen bomb. And that ICBM can cover every corner of the world in less than 20 minutes and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted. I hope Washington has learned the lesson. If you want to have war, you will get war. If you want to destroy China, you will be destroyed. If you want to impose nuclear war on China, you will be wiped out by nuclear war. This is very serious.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you believe the state of the world? This is October the 3rd, 2025. We have Putin yesterday waxing eloquent about the destruction of relationships and warfare for 4 to 5 hours. We have China throwing rhetoric out like this. We have absolute global chaos unfolding right in front of our eyes. That is why it is important that we hunt for truth, fight for truth, and stand for truth. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, and subscribing. A lot going on right now I'm watching, and we'll be back at you very soon. Thank you.